were following his teachings and following his example and so on, that the movement that came into existence from that, those could have been the ones that decided to form a new religious movement, we'll say, on his life and teaching sort of thing, which over time then got entrenched even more and dogmatized even more, and and basically turned into the religion that we know today, sort of thing. We say that Yeshua, Jesus, founded the Christian religion. He was the founder of it. But to be honest with you, as I said, Yeshua was a Jew, and Yeshua died a Jew. And so there is no clear indication from his own life and his own teachings and all the rest of it that he was setting out to create a whole new religion in this world, And so the religion exists, and if it wasn't him setting out to try to create the religion, then we have to ask ourselves, well, how did this religion come into existence then? And this is where most religious extremists, what I call Christian religious extremists, don't want to look. This is the direction that they don't want to look in, sort of thing. Well, if our teachings and our beliefs and so on that aren't Yeshua's, Jesus' own teachings and so on, where did they come from? What was the actual origin of them? And so, like I said, when I'm online and I'm trying to have a more broad-based discussion with people that have channels, because there are a lot of channels on YouTube now, guys, that are exploring this very sort of thing. And I was exploring this long before I went online, guys, long before I got a YouTube account and all the rest of it sort of thing. A number of writers, number of researchers that have spent entire lifetimes researching the origins of Christianity from a non-religious perspective sort of thing, just to figure out how the religion came into existence and how the books that we use as the books of the New Testament, how they came into existence, who may have wrote those books, and so on and so forth. There are people that have spent an entire lifetime researching this stuff, guys, outside of the religion itself and outside of the, what the dogma of the religion tries to shove down our throats. So I'm the kind of person, guys, that when I want to figure something out, okay? When I want to understand something, thoroughly understand something, I'll search in every possible direction that I can think of to get all the information that I can manage to dig up, let's say, to form as clear, as accurate an understanding of this particular thing, and getting back to the original as close as is conceivably possible, when you're talking 2,000 years after the fact sort of thing, as I can get. Most religious people don't do that. They can't be bothered to do that. They get stuck in their dogma, and that's where they stay. And it's these sorts of people that I keep having to deal with online when I'm discussing alternative theories about this individual that are every bit as valid, every bit as possible, every bit as plausible as what the dogma of the religion today claims about this individual. So that's what these videos are all about here now, guys. Getting into all of this aspect of it outside of the religion itself, sort of thing. So let's see how far we've gone here now, guys. 22 minutes in. Okay, then. So, yeah. Should have looked at my last video now to figure out where I ended off to, so I could start off at the same spot. What I want to start off with here now, guys, as I get into this discussion, is the response that I've gotten from a number of people over the years, when I share my viewpoints about Yeshua, they'll ask me, "What's your source? Where where are you getting this information from? What source are you turning to? Like you're using to represent this perspective?" There's any number of things, guys, that we could probably use outside of the Bible, the New Testament of the Bible, to try to get a more accurate understanding of who exactly Yeshua was, and what his life was about, and what his actual original message was. So the thing is, you can only go so far with that. Because even with the best sources that we have and all the variety of sources that we have for him, those sources are still limited, guys, quite limited. Now, in saying that, I mean the same thing is true for Buddha, and and the same thing is absolutely true, guys, for Islam, because I've come across a fair amount of material recently, because of course you have that religion now that's pushing its way all over the world, and trying to gain new ground, and trying to take over more and more places, and so it's becoming more and more important to try to figure out the origins of this religion as well, and so you can know how to combat it better when someone wants to basically shove it down your throat, and so I haven't had that experience yet in my life so far. Now we have, like I said, we have a lot of Muslim people around town right now. The numbers are growing, seems like almost by the day, and so I haven't had the experience yet where someone of that faith has tried to convert me to that faith. It's probably only a matter of time that the day is probably going to come, sort of thing. When that day comes, I want to be as prepared as I know how to be to address whatever they bring up as being their points of why, I should convert to their religion, sort of thing. So, but the bit of research that I've done so far is the same darn thing, is that there are those that say that Muhammad never existed at all. Like he was never an actual historical figure. And the handful of people, the non-Muslim people that are doing the research in that area, which aren't many that I'm aware of, only one or two, 3 or 4 maybe at best. They claim that there's even less support for the existence of Muhammad as an historical figure than there appears to be for the life of Yeshua as an historical figure, And then again, like I say, I mean, the same can be said about Buddha as well. I mean, I've heard statements to say that even within Buddhism, there are those that question whether Buddha ever existed as an historical figure either, So then I ask myself sometimes, well, if that's the case, if that's true, how in the heck do these religions come into existence if there is no actual founder of the religion? Like you can't go back to one individual person and their life and their teachings as being, let's say, the genesis for that particular religion. I mean, so I mean, I'm not investigating the origins of Buddhism right now. I'm not investigating the origins of Islam. I'm trying to investigate the origins of Christianity, and trying to better understand the individual that is claimed to be the founder of this particular religion. So when you do that, guys, when you go down that road, as I said, you need to not be afraid to pursue anything and everything that comes your way as to possible alternatives for who this individual was. We are aware of traditions that claim that this individual, in these missing years of his life, between 12 and 30, excuse me, guys, I'm getting very stuffed up right now as well. It's always something, like I said. Barely breathe there, both my nostrils right now, guys. None of this helps me to be able to concentrate, see? Goodness. That he traveled a lot, guys. And so now, when he would have began those, when we can reasonably accept that he began those travels, is difficult to say. Okay, so the last thing that we have recorded, that tradition has recorded for us about him, was when he was 12 years of age, and he had this big enlightened conversation with the temple priest and all the rest of it. I can't remember what book that's recorded now, but whatever. And that's it. That's until he begins his public ministry. Now, I also find it really interesting that this account of Yeshua states that he had all this deep, profound wisdom, guys, at such a young age, 12 years of age, and yet this account of his life is so broad, so basic, so surface, so superficial, goes into next to no detail, and it doesn't elaborate on any of this deep, profound knowledge that this individual had. Just said that, that he astounded the religious leaders of his time in discussing matters of the Torah and the law, or almost certainly that's probably what it was along those lines, And so when you're trying to piece these things together, you have to come at it from a whole bunch of different angles, guys. So you have to kind of think about the culture of that time period. What was accepted within that time period. So at 12 years of age, I can't remember now if Yeshua's father would have still been alive or not. Supposedly, Yeshua's father died at some point in his youth, or some accounts claim that anyway. And so at this point, I'm not sure, probably not, because I think the story goes on to say that both the father and the mother were searching for him. So it's the indication that at 12 years of age, his father was still alive. So the thing is, we're told that he was the oldest one in his family. So we're told that he had brothers and sisters. We're not told how many brothers and sisters. So again, you could probably infer this from checking other sources, Jewish sources, as to what would have been an acceptable number of children for Jewish couples of the day, that time period, to have had. What would have been considered too few, what would be considered like really excessive, almost too many, what would have been an acceptable number, sort of thing. So I think, from my understanding, from everything that I've read and everything I've come across throughout my lifetime, it was Yeshua himself, and he was the oldest, and then he had at least 2 or 3 of the brothers, and possibly at least 1 sister, maybe 2 sisters. So there could have been 4 or 5 other siblings of Yeshua in the family. at the time Yeshua was around, he was alive, you know. So if you think 6 children in a Jewish family in that day and age, like, to me, just from more just a common sense perspective, that seems like a halfway reasonable number, like a halfway acceptable size family that would have been common in Judea. You know, within the first the first decade or so of the Common Era, we'll say, since we're going by YESHUA for the time frames there. So, would it have been acceptable, I wonder, for YESHUA at 12 years of age to have been allowed to go on his own, you know, basically all over the known world of that time period? He was the oldest one in the family. I don't know like what the responsibilities of the oldest one, period. I guess because his sisters were, I think all of his sisters, whatever ones he had, were younger than him as well. So would he have been permitted to shirk whatever responsibilities he may have had as the eldest one in the family and go off and do all this kind of gallivanting around, we'll say, in other parts of the world, sort of thing? So, you know, just to think about it from a common sense perspective, what would have been accepted, and if Yeshua went ahead and did this, had all these travels, at what point in his life would he have been able to begin to do that sort of thing? You know, So we've only, what's it, like 18 odd years, what you say, like from 12 to my math is so bad, guys. 12 to 30, so 20 to 30, yeah, 10, oh yeah, 18 odd years. Okay, right. So how much can you travel in 18 years, I wonder? Even if you take an entire decade, let's say that he began his travels around 18 or 19. So, you know, like around 13 odd years. How much of the known world could he have traveled, explored within that time frame?